Hey there, everybody. Welcome. This is a review of the Blacklist Season 8, Episode 9, The Cyranoid. This episode was pretty crazy and kind of psychotic at times, but I enjoyed a lot of it. I don't know what that says about me. I don't know what that says about all of us as viewers, but hey.
Yeah, there was a lot going on in this episode. It was pretty good.
We finally see Neville Townsend in the flesh. This man is a total crazy person. I don't know if it was like the music they were playing when he showed up or him like in that weird robe or whatever, but I was just like, I don't know what's going on with you, dude.
I hope he's going to be around for a little while. He seems like he could be a really good sort of bad guy for Reddington.
He does. I've got a lot of thoughts on Neville and also just like their own characterization of Neville, but before we go further here, if you guys enjoy this video, subscribe to the channel because guess what? We do previews, we do reviews, we talk crazy theories. We don't want you guys to miss any of it.
For sure. Hit that subscribe button.
Okay, could I just say this? I feel like they just really wanted Neville Townsend to be like a modern day version of Ian McShane's character from Deadwood, and they were just like, let's just stick this guy.
I can see that. I can see that. And I mean, that would be a great comparison because he's great.
Yeah.
Anyone who hasn't seen Deadwood, it is awesome. You need to go watch that.
Yeah, they're just like, let's make him like this kind of cranky, kind of like irrational, manic, and it's like, dude, he's just like, I guess he doesn't sleep and he's just in some weird trance until they come and wake him up.
Yeah, I don't know. I am hoping for more information about him because right now, I mean, he's had some weird requests of this Liz doppelganger to be like, you need to kill my sister to prove yourself to me. So if he's willing to do that, he's willing to do a lot.
This is the first episode where I'm not at code red with it yet, but I'm starting to sound a little bit of a where is Megan Boone alarm because I feel like this episode, like it actually could have used just even like 2 minutes of her at some point, like actually seeing her. This one felt weird.
Even if they weren't able to show her for whatever reason, they could have used her voice. There is no reason that she wouldn't be able to call in for any type of sort of ADR work or anything of just being on the other side of that and hearing her voice feeding into her Cyranoid.
It was weird. Like, I know Liz is gonna be back. We haven't seen the last of her. I believe that with every part of my soul.
I feel like we haven't seen the last of her, but I am starting to get a bit worried. I mean, why wouldn't they be using her voice in this? I think it actually would have made this episode even more powerful to sort of hear some of that for us as viewers.
For sure, and I hope she's just, like, in the promo or something, like, actually in the promo and not one of those, like, promo freakouts. We haven't seen the promo yet. Like, I hope they give us something moving forward.
Yes, new footage in the promo, because a couple weeks ago they gave us Liz in the promo, but it kind of felt like it was just reused footage, which it was.
Okay, let's try to chart out, apparently, what Liz did here, because this was all very, very roundabout. So she gets the freelancer, and she uses in some ways the freelancer to get Chemical Mary, and she's not using Chemical Mary in order to use her chemicals, but instead she's using Chemical Mary to get to Neville Townsend because somehow Liz knows that they are related, even though it doesn't seem like anyone else does.
Yeah, that was a little bit weird. I really wish they kind of explained a bit better how Liz has found out that they're related. Just like, how did she know about the thumb drive? Like, there's a lot of missing pieces that aren't really fitting together to make this feel like how does Liz have such an upper hand on someone like Reddington who has a bigger network than her? She's still creating this network.
Okay, here's what happened. Liz sat down Chemical Mary and was just like, listen, Mary, we're going to create an ancestry profile for you. We're going to find all of your relatives. No, I don't know how all of this really worked, but I'm I'm glad one way or the other we brought in Neville into the mix, because we have heard this man's name for a very, very long time now.
Yeah, and I'm glad that he's actually kind of terrifying, because we sort of saw the whole Townsend directive thing going on with the Eastern Division or the Western Division, who was like taken out in 5 minutes.
Yeah, all of the other parts of Townsend's organization, other than Townsend himself, suck. But this guy is weird and interesting. He ends up meeting with Liz, or Liz, who is captured at the scene. Okay, let's just have a talk about this Liz, because there was a lot of, she looks almost exactly like Liz.
She doesn't look anything like Liz, and for me, I actually would have really liked to have seen, and I do hope we get this further down, actual Liz sitting down with Neville. I mean, this guy was chasing her mom down for 30 years, put her into hiding, did separate the two of them. She wasn't able to come out of hiding, wasn't able to be with Liz. This is something that Reddington brought up, and I do think that there's some of that in there. That may not be what Liz is doing, but that doesn't mean that there isn't a part of Liz that puts some blame on Neville for this.
One of the things I did like about that Neville and fake Liz conversation we had was that it seemed as though Neville wasn't buying that was Liz, and I think ultimately he just sort of got of this mindset where, you know what, doesn't really matter, it's clear that this is a vessel for Liz, even if it isn't Liz, whatever, I can have this conversation, which is of great import to me if Liz here is saying everything she is about, oh, no, Katerina was not your person, that's not who you should have been after this whole time.
Yeah, and I mean, the whole Cyranoid thing was pretty cool. There were some cool things. I mean, this Liz didn't look like Liz really at all. It was just another person with brown hair. There wasn't really a lot of features or anything else that looked like her. But the actress did a really good job sort of speaking like Liz, so I will give it that. The thing that I found a bit strange was when Reddington actually came to find the commissioner, the person who was in charge of everything. His Cyranoid looked nothing like him, that's fine, but I would expect that his Cyranoid would be really protected to be able to protect the commissioner.
Yeah.
No guns, no, I'm gonna just kill this person who's come in here, no background in murder of any type. It was a little too, I don't know, just easy to access him, which doesn't make any sense to me when you see the doppelganger that Liz had, who was willing to kill people. Like, wouldn't you have your own to be able to protect you? It was a bit weak.
Radio Store Man had his own thing going on. Were you afraid that Reddington almost killed the radio star? There we go. There's my really bad attempt at a musical pun, but you're all welcome.
Oh my God.
Okay, this is the thing with this. Yeah, it was a little bit weird how some of that sort of stuff went down, and really I have questions just kind of all about this Cyranoid operation in general, but you're right. The fake Liz actress, I think, was good at sort of mimicking everything that Liz would do, everything that Liz would say. We had a good use of evidence that has been brought up in the past. We've known how important that recording was going to be for a long, long time.
For sure. And the one thing that I did really like about this episode is that there was more sort of a back and forth inside a lot of the task force members. Like, we've seen everybody sort of struggling with it, but we've also sort of seen that the task force hasn't had as much as they should to do in these episodes. And seeing Cooper struggling back and forth, and at the beginning kind of making this sort of grand thing that Liz is doing this for the greater good, and Aram being like, I don't know, I don't see this. I don't believe this anymore.
Yeah.
This isn't the same Liz that I know. The Liz that I know would never work with Chemical Mary for any reason whatsoever. And I liked seeing sort of where everybody was landing. Now, the one thing that I was surprised with was with Aram when he was in the room with the fake Liz. This isn't actually Liz. This is somebody else. If this was Liz, I could see Aram not pulling the trigger, not getting her in cuffs, putting her away, anything like that. But this particular situation, this isn't actually Liz. This is just Liz talking in a stranger's ear. You could have done something about this, and I actually believe that Aram would have done something about this.
It was a little strange how much a lot of the task force was willing to just dive into the whole conceit that this was Liz and that it might as well just be Liz, even if it is not Liz.
But it's not, and I just wonder why no one was, especially Aram, wasn't like, okay, listen, we can get this person, and we can get this person to tell us where Liz is. Even if they didn't know, they don't know that.
The part where fake Liz is talking to Wrestler and she's just sort of like, you remember what happened the last night before I left out? At that point, I was just like, I'm getting out of this room now. I'm backing away. This is getting weird.
Yeah, but I mean, that's, again, it's not really proof. It just is kind of proof that Liz might have just told this person that they hooked up. It needed to be something way more specific about that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't actually hear that because I don't need to know more specifics, but you're right. If you are Wrestler, you probably want to get some more proof and understanding of what is really going on here. The task force, as we have established all season, they could be doing a few things better. They could be doing a few things right.
Yep.
That they're not. Panabaker, we all need you, Panabaker. You're really a voice of reason amidst all the madness here.
It was really nice to see Cooper figure out where he stands in the gray area, because he's been struggling with that a lot this season. We even saw it a lot in the last few episodes, where he just doesn't really know where he's gonna stand when it comes to living in this gray area. So for him to sort of start this episode with, Liz is doing this for the greater good, we should all, be okay with this, to have him at the end really sit down and say, no, I'm actually going to order Liz's arrest. It's enough. I'm out of the gray area now.
Here's a list of some of the bad things that Liz has done since going on the run. She really risked those people colliding with each other in the airplanes.
2 planes filled with people, to have 20 people that would all have to things would all have to go in exact right order. She got very lucky.
She basically assassinated Chemical Mary. She was right there. She had her person do that. Then there's the whole thing with fake Liz. I think her name was Miss Collins or something like that, as it was revealed, where Reddington, this scene was great, by the way, where Reddington was counting down the number of chambers rolling around until he pulled the trigger. And I know Reddington didn't actually have a plan to take this woman out. It was all sort of a stunt, but Liz can't read minds, can she? Did she actually think that Reddington was pulling one over here?
No, I think she probably thought that Reddington would kill her, because Reddington is a killer.
Yeah.
Reddington will kill people if he has to. And she may have thought, yes, this is an innocent person, but as soon as Red was like, is she innocent? She just killed somebody for you, so how innocent is she? That was the moment that was kind of Liz might think, he's going to actually do this, because she's not exactly innocent.
This is where we all wish we could just sort of shout things at Liz, because clearly Red has some element of a code, and that, yes, this fake Liz did some pretty terrible stuff over the course of it. She was also doing some sort of specific duty, but Reddington did not kill her. And yet Reddington was willing to kill Katarina, or whatever sort of Katarina is a Cyranoid theories that are going to pop up after this episode.
Yeah.
So clearly, in his mind, she must have done something to very much deserve that death, because Reddington doesn't kill people willy-nilly, at least at this point in the show.
The one thing that really stuck with me was when Reddington said, this has been a 30-year-long project.
Yeah.
We have seen at the beginning of this episode where Cooper shared all the information with the team that they think that he's N13 and everything that we already know about sort of the archive and him getting information and all that sort of stuff. But to have him actually say, this has been a project that I've been working on for 30 years, it doesn't necessarily mean 100% he's N13. I feel like he is, but that there's more to the story than that. Like I said, I think he's a double agent kind of thing where, yeah, maybe he was N13 and he still is N13, but he's really working now for the American government instead. But the fact that this is a 30-year-long project, that was confirmed today, that was good. It was good to know.
Yeah, it's valuable to know that this is something that Reddington in one way or another has been doing for a very long time, and we have these chumps like Rakitin who is coming in, and but Rakitin, you may be a brilliant hacker, you are awful at everything else. Like, we can all sort of agree that his idea of, hey, look over there, the Rakitin is dead now, and then he's just, like, taking one person off the list of, like, possible Rakitins. Cooper didn't buy this whole stunt for a second.
No, I don't know why he thought that. He is kind of an idiot on that sort of scale. It just was ridiculous.
It was Reddington doing his version of, like, the Buzz Lightyear, there are no signs of intelligent life anywhere meme when he was having that conversation with him. Okay, the last sort of major thing, and we could dive a little bit into theory discussion here, because you brought up the whole double agent theory again, and we've talked a lot about that these past couple weeks.
Yeah.
But we saw at the end of this episode, Reddington had his communication with Townsend, and Townsend was like, I believe Liz, she has given me this evidence, I'm ready to do what needs to be done. And Reddington continues along down this road of there's more to this story, Liz is wrong. Reddington, if you have information that will clear your name at this point, why are you still holding it back, knowing what you know about Townsend's capacity to, like, chase you down and ruin your life to the point where Katarina went into hiding for whoever knows how long?
Yeah, and this is where I still land, that he is doing some, like, deep spy work, and it is for a greater good for him, that he's putting him, you know, himself sort of under everything else, that Reddington is like, you know, I don't matter as much, but the work that I'm doing matters, so if everything ends up coming together, then if I die, I die, and if I don't, that's great too.
Here are the list of people now who Reddington needs to be terrified of. Liz, who I don't still understand how Liz is as perfect as she's been with a lot of this.
No, the show needs to course correct that. She can't be getting every single thing right. And I understand that she was trained by Reddington all these years, but being trained by Reddington for these past 7 or 8 years is not the same as him doing this for 30 years. Like, I just am having a hard time believing it.
Number 2, the friend from the East, who is still out there. We didn't see him in this episode, but he's probably not going to be too thrilled that Reddington doesn't seem to be super gung-ho on the whole let's go and kill Cooper mission.
No, and I mean, Rakitin brought that up as well. The whole, hey, Cooper's still here, what is going on? You said you would take care of it.
Reddington was just like, I'll do it when I want to do it.
Yeah.
And he's not going to take orders from Rakitin. Rakitin, you don't even know how to stage a proper dead body to clear your own name. You don't get to chime in on this, Rakitin. And now number 3, Neville Townsend, who is also going to want you dead. And, you know, there's probably a lot that we will get into at some point when we look ahead there to what's next. But yeah, there are a lot of questions I think we have about logic of certain things here or there, but there's no denying this episode was really fun. It was crazy. It was intense. Like, I actually feel like we're moving forward into something.
Yeah, it feels like we're starting to move forward into something, but it is now, for me, long overdue that Liz needs to return to the show. And I feel like this episode tonight was the perfect opportunity. Let's say that actress is off filming something else right now for whatever reason. She's got another project or something, or she's whatever's going on. She could call in and do some voiceover work. Yes. There's no reason not to be able to do that. And I think that this episode could have been so much more powerful if just her voice was there, sort of talking in the ear of this person. So then we hear, you know, her own sort of inflections in her voice and how desperate she feels, or how in control she feels, or how anything she feels.
Okay, let's hear your guys' thoughts on this, because we got some good questions here. Obviously, what did you think about this episode? Give me your craziest who has been a Cyranoid this whole time theory. Is it we have a Reddington Cyranoid, a Katarina? Give me all your crazy. I love crazy. I will embrace it all.
This was a one-off, folks.
Okay, yeah, I think I do think it's a one-off, but I know that we love all the dance around this stuff, and also,
yes, we do.
What was your favorite moment, and why was it Reddington shooting the radio? Because to me, that was outstanding. Let me know. Let us know. And if you like this video, subscribe, give us a like, support us further. We got links to the store or Patreon. We'll see you here next time.